Hi guys, today is our first film for the 2015-2016 school year. Today our first film is going to be on greatest common factor, or otherwise known as GCF. So I'm going to show you the old way and then I'm going to show you a new way. I want to try it this year. So if I was to ask you what's the greatest common factor of 15 and 20, you might do something like this. You might say, well, 1 times 15 is 15, 3 times 5 is 15. And you might bring down your 1. So you would say the factors of 15 are 1, 3, and 5. And then you would do the same thing to 20. You would say 1 times 20. You would say 4 times 5. You would say 2 times 2. So you would say the factors of 20 are 1, 2, 2, and 5. Let me show you an easier way called the ladder method. And this is what it looks like. You still take your same two numbers of 15 and 20, and instead you draw an upside down division sign. And you think in your head, what number goes into 15 and 20? And you would say 5. So 5 goes into 15 3 times, 5 goes into 20 4 times. And then you would say, nothing else I can divide can go into 3 and 4 except for the number 1. So over here we have 5, 3, and 4. In the ladder method, that would be the greatest common factor would be 5. Over here, the greatest common factor you would look for are numbers that are similar. So I see 1 that's the same, and I see 5 that's the same. So I would multiply 1 times 5 to get the greatest common factor of 5. So either way is going to get you the right answer. You can see this one, you've got to really keep track of your numbers. You've got to make sure they're in columns, whereas over here you're just doing an upside down division sign. So let's try another problem like this. Let's try 6 and 12. So I'm going to set them up both ways, the factor way and the ladder way. So here I would have 1 and 6, 2 and 3. So the factors of 6 are 1, 2, and 3. If I go to 12, I would have 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 2 and 3. I'd bring down my 1, bring down my 2. So the factors of 12 are 1, 2, 2, and 3. Let me go over to 6 and 12. I know that 2 goes into 6 and 12, so I'm going to put 2. 2 goes into 6 3 times. 2 goes into 12 6 times. I also know that 3 and 6 can be divided, so I'm just going to put another division sign, and I'm going to say 3 goes into 3 and 6. 3 goes into 3 1 time, 3 goes into 6 2 times. So over here, my greatest common factor would be those two numbers multiplied by each other, which would be 6. Over here, I would find the numbers that are the same. I see they both have the number 1, they both have the number 2, and they both have the number 3. So to get the greatest common factor this way, I would multiply 1 times 2 times 3 to get 6. So you can see both ways. I'm going to get the factor of 6. This way, again, you've got to make sure that you're factoring out the numbers all the way, and you've got to keep your numbers in order. And then find all of the similar factors. Over here, we're just doing some division. So let's try one that has 3 numbers. So over here, we're going to try the numbers 30, 48, and 60. So first, I'm going to factor out. I would have 1, 30, 2, 15, 3, 5. And I would say the factors of 30 are 1, 2, 3, and 5. Let's do 48. 1 and 48, 2 and 24, 2 and 12, 2 and 6, 2 and 3. And then I would bring down all of these numbers, making sure I don't forget about any of them. And I would say the factors of 48 are 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, and 3. And now look, I ran out of room for my 60. I'm going to have to move it over just a little bit. All right, so let's do factor out 60. So 1, 60, 2, 30, 2, 15, 3, 5. Again, I'm going to bring down all of these numbers. And I'm going to say the factors of 60 are 1, 2, 2, 3, and 5. Now I have to find all of those similar numbers. I have a 1 that's the same in all of them. I have a 2 that's the same in all of them. I have a 3, I have a 3 that's similar in all of them. Right? And so here I would say that my greatest common factor is 1 times 2 times 3 is, oops, not 60, is 6. So now let's try it the latter way. So you can see here's all my work for just that problem. So let me try over here. So we'll do 30, 48, and 60. I always start off easy. I divide by 2. I think all of those are even numbers, so we're going to divide by 2. So I have 2, 15, 24, 30. Now I'm going to say, okay, what number can go into 15, 24, and 30? Well, I know nothing goes into 15. Well, 3 does. And actually, 3 goes into all of them. I don't know what I was thinking there. So 3 goes into all of those. 3. So 3 times 5 is 15. 3 times 8 is 24. And 3 times 10. So if I sit here and I figure out, well, nothing else really goes into all of these. So my greatest common factor would be 2 times 3, or 6. All right, so I want you to give it a try and see how you feel, but try this way. I feel like this way you're not going to miss any numbers, whereas this way sometimes you forget about one of the factors because it gets so smushed in, because you've really got to make sure you're really spatial with that. There's lots of videos on YouTube, the ladder method. Feel free to look them up and see if this way, if you can try it this way, because I think it might help you out. All right, have a great night, guys.